When you guys are making the songs, do you ever, like a stand-up comedian would, work out the material before you like lay it down and do it, or?
Yeah, we'll definitely experiment with the jokes. Oftentimes we'll be in the room together and then we'll crack a premise and then we all three sit there with the beat just playing on a loop with a notepad and write as many jokes and lyrics or even just joke ideas and then be like, help me finish this line, or write out a whole verse and then be like, all right, check it out. What do you think of this? And then we'll like edit it together.
That's true.
And what the movie itself, the idea that you guys came up with was from, you were just sitting around watching documentaries on boy bands?
A little. I mean,
we've always been obsessed with pop culture since we were kids.
Yeah.
Like music videos and all that kind of stuff.
And then, because doing our albums and the digital shorts at SNL, the music seemed to be what really worked for us. So we really wanted to do a movie that felt like it was a musical, kind of a Lonely Island movie. And we had a few ideas of how that would work. And one of them was sort of the resurgence of the popumentary, right. Which we liked because it's like the rock doc, the same way like Spinal Tap, which is the gold standard of musical comedy, took like the rock doc and did that. And now there was this sort of updated version of it that's sort of big and glossy and slick and had a sort of an entry point for the music that we usually work in. Mm-hmm. And then Akiva had a meeting with Judd Apatow, who randomly was just like, I think it'd be really funny if you guys did like one of those pop docs. And he was like, oh man, we were just talking about that. And he's like, well, if you guys write it, I'll produce it. So we just immediately started writing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those pop docs are, just for the record, like Katy Perry, Part of Me, or like One Direction, This Is Us. Those ones that are kind of...
The Bieber one, yeah.
The Bieber one, both of them. It's kind of like they were made by the person that they're about, so they're going to be a little bit fluffy and kind of, they're promotional pieces, which we like the idea of because midway through the movie, things start tanking for him, and we kind of thought, like, what would that be like if in the middle of one of these glossy promo docs, things went really wrong?
Yeah.
How long did it take you guys to actually like sit down and write it until you were done?
From the moment that meeting with Jed happened till the release date will be 2.5 years, where basically that's all we worked on.
Yeah, because it was writing a full album and writing a full movie at the same time.
And then shooting it and editing it.
And obviously as the story kind of came together and congealed, we would write new songs or adjust songs so it matched the story and matched the character. Or we'd be like, oh, this actually would be a better song for this character, and then re-record it with that person and stuff like that.
And there's a bunch of songs that are on the soundtrack that aren't even in the movie, because like all movies, you have to film so much and then really whittle it down.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah. We have a song with Akon that didn't even make the movie that we love.
Yeah, a lot of them were some of the best songs, but if they don't fit the story, it was an interesting new thing to have to like cut stuff that you love and that's actually kind of working, but not working in the right way for the overall piece.
Mixtape. Put it on the mixtape.
Exactly. That's one of my questions for Pharrell today.
Yeah.
Are you ready for your first question?
Yeah, sure. Are you guys doing a mixtape?
Well, no.
We've talked about
it. Because this came up, we decided we wanted to ask you a couple questions because we were like, first off, it must be interesting. You're doing an interview show, but you are who you are, so you're always you're probably the most interesting person at the table every time. So really, we should be asking you questions, and then that conversation led to us thinking of some questions for you. So the first one is about mixtapes.
In the modern era,
yeah.
What is the difference between a mixtape and an album?
We're talking in light of like Chance's one, If You're Reading This Too Late, What Time to Be Alive. They are formally called mixtapes. But why are those not albums?
Like a mixtape is like it's like a complete different.
Tell us about what they used to be, because I think I know. But just
a mixtape used to be like something like for like promotional use,
right?
That the record companies would actually use. But then at the same time, like there were DJs that would like make their mixtapes.
Yeah,
like,
because there's the first ones that are like, let's say like Funk Flex or somebody who's just putting together cool stuff. But then he also might get some people to come rap on it who doing a verse, but they'd usually be doing over somebody else's beat.
Yeah, that was
like
why
a famous
I thought
song.
it was so they didn't have to clear the beats.
Right, a lot of times there'd be a whole mixtape where people were
like
on
mixtapes originally were just like tapes that DJs made, like like literally
of other
people's
like, songs, just playing them to show off their DJ skills. Because there was the middle range where like a new MC who couldn't afford beats would just grab a bunch of beats from famous records. He'd grab like Shook Ones, or he'd grab like a beat from like a Neptune's beat or something, and then he'd make a whole album rapping over other people's beats because he could show off his thing and maybe get a record deal. That was what they meant for a little while, and now it just seems like it's an album that you don't want to call an album.
Sometimes it was also meant as like a diss. I could rhyme over this hot beat better than you.
Right, I'll steal your beat and then do it better.
Honestly, like mixtapes for me, like my experiences with them were like a lot of the New York City DJs were making mixtapes, and they were coming down south, and a lot of people are like, we were losing our minds. That Clue tape was everything.
Mm-hmm. Just a way to learn about new music because the internet didn't exist. So it's like if you wanted to hear stuff that wasn't on the radio, this was a way to just hear what was going on.
Yeah, and those DJs were known for getting things quicker than anybody else. So you wanted to like check in with them, and they were everywhere. There was so many of them.
Right. Mm-hmm. But now with the internet, that kind of became obsolete in a way.
And that just became a way to deliver your music.
And now it's called something else. And now it's evolved though to where then it just meant free for a while. Like, hey, here's a free album.
Yeah.
And then it'll have my real one you have to pay for. But now with these new ones, they're basically just albums. Some of them.
But, essentially. But I mean,
I think there was also a point where mixtapes.
There's just so much. There's just so many layers to that.
Yeah. I don't think it's any one thing, but I think a lot of artists also were saying, hey, check me out. You don't have to pay for it.
That's what I mean. It was good. Like the first Drake one that had Best I Ever Had. That's a true mixtape because it had stuff. It had samples that weren't really cleared. And it just was like this is who I am.
Yeah, a true mixtape.
It's unofficial.
For what mixtape meant at
that moment. Yeah, exactly. Right, because a true mixtape is just a bunch of songs put onto a tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it keeps evolving. I just thought it was interesting.
For sure.
Wanted your take. Thank you for answering the question.
Yeah, I'm not even sure my take was right. There's so many aspects of it. I mean,
there really are.
I literally had to think back to like. In the beginning, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Okay, mixtapes meant something completely different when we were young and getting them.
It's continuing to evolve.
The other thing is like they were like one of the richest sources of like, getting up-to-date freestyles from someone.
Right. That's what I mean.
I don't know. I'd love that you guys are like explaining your process. And I think, I don't know, it'd be really interesting to do something.
I mean,
we have before, but
just more. You're in our movie.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Thank you.
You haven't seen it yet. But
no, I haven't seen it yet. But I also, I don't like seeing myself.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you can close your eyes for that part. It's just one little interview part.
Okay.
I'll warn you, I'll edit it out of your copy and get it sent over to you.
Thank you, man, and congratulations. And it's cool. What you're to me, I feel like the walls that you guys are knocking down are huge.
Thanks.
I don't know if you guys are experiencing it like that, or if you see it that way. But you're pushing the boundary, and you should continue to like challenge like conventional platforms by just bringing your message and bringing your style. Because I think it can just continue on. You can do everything.
I mean, would you say that you
like? To me, merch, like really cool merch, just as long as it makes you laugh.
Yeah.
I just feel like using a lot of using different mediums to just like continue to make people laugh is kind of.
We love it. That's very nice of you.
Huge, to me.
Yeah, we'll take it. Yeah. We'll take it from you before anyone, man.
Who were some of the boy bands that you guys really watched to inspire you for the movie or make fun of?
Inspired. Truthfully, like we've been doing tons of press for this, and people are like so juiced to tell us that we're ripping on Bieber,
right?
And we're like, we're really not. Like, we watched his docs, and there's 2 references to them, and there's references to a ton of other people, and we know him a little bit and totally like him and respect his music. But it's crazy how people are like they want it to be that.
Right.
They're like, finally, you guys are sticking it to Bieber. We're like, no, we're not.
Because they know they'll get clicks on the article if that's if his name is in the headline.
Yeah.
But it's not fair.
It's like a testament to how big he is, I guess.
Yeah, but he's talented.
He really is. That last record is great.
Yeah.
I mean, forget
for sure.
But anyways, we did watch his docs. We watched the Katy Perry one. We watched One Direction. We watched J-Lo. We watched the Lil Wayne one. We watched like YouTube clips of Wiz Khalifa and A$AP Rocky and people. Like, we just kind of were like, what's going on right now in social media with music and the way people interact with their fans and the way they interact with like the people that surround them, and then sort of applied that to a story we felt like we could actually pull off. And made super exaggerated, goofy version of that. So yeah, we did a lot of research. We really liked a lot of those docs. I have to say the One Direction one is super charming. It really is.
This is us.
Nah.
Morgan Spurlock directed it. The guy
so
who did like
crazy.
Super Size Me and stuff.
Yeah.
Like he's a great
And we went
documentarian.
into it being like, all right, One Direction, let's watch it, see what it is. And by the end, we were like, I think these guys might be fucking great.
Yeah.
They're so charming.
I actually heard you on Howard Stern talking about that, where he was like,
Yeah.
I can't believe this Justin Bieber guy's charming.
But he's also, you watch that first movie, you're like, oh, he was gonna be a superstar no matter what happened. Like if Usher didn't find him, if Scooter didn't find him, somebody was going to, because the talent is just so overwhelming. And
One of the bits that we have that is in direct reference to him is that in his documentary, it shows him drumming at like age 5 or something, and he's just destroying. And you're like, oh, he's meant to do it. And ours is just like a little baby doing it.
Yeah, he's
So
like
it's
a
slightly
6-month-old who can't
exaggerated.
sit up. He's killing it on the drums.
But yeah, those things are fascinating. They really are. It feels like it's a new thing. Like there's always been pop music docs. Like there was like Hard Day's Night for the Beatles, even if you want to go that far back.
Right.
But the glossiness of them now, it has kind of reached a new level.